Hi, Godzo Medicine PlayStation and Medic Maniac YouTube. Gran Turismo 7, and yes, I'm saying AI Sophy sucks. So the car there that you see just passed my car, and I'm in first place, as you can see. 75 lap race, professional difficulty, using the AI Sophy. And the car that's just passed me is a back marker, and it's just passed me because I'm in first place. I made a video ages ago, it's on my channel somewhere, and I talked about regular AI, because there's a difference between regular AI in custom race and Sophy AI in custom race. And I had some races the other day on GT7 using regular AI, and I was disappointed because I kept getting rammed by the AI and it kept braking on the apex and stuff like that. And I had a look around on YouTube and what other people said about custom race AI, and they concurred with me that it sucks. And some people said, well, AI Sophy is a game changer. And they said, well, it's still, you know, sticks to the racing line and it's not exciting. It seems quite pedestrian, as in they're all in a line, you know, they're all kind of orderly and you don't really see any fighting and stuff. And I thought, look, okay, if it's not going to ram me off the track and it's not going to brake on the apex and it's not going to be aggressive and stuff like that, like I was getting with regular AI, then I'll give it a shot. I found other people that said AI Sophy still does stick you off the track. And I thought, okay, it's got to be an improvement over regular AI, right? Well, kind of. Now in this race I started, as I regularly do, if I'm doing a race in custom race, I like a lot of laps. And I start at the back of the grid because GT7 is not very difficult, is it? Let's face it. Even the professional difficulty is not very difficult. It doesn't have qualifying and you can't affect the amount of fuel that goes in your car. So I start at the back of the grid. I'd like it to be better, I'd like it to be more in depth, I'd like it to be a passionate, you know, experience made by proper motor racing fans, but as you can see very clearly, it's not. So I start at the back of the grid to try and give myself a bit of a challenge, and then I work my way through the field and generally get very exasperated with the rubbish AI that cheats and pushes you off the track and does all kinds of shenanigans. So I tried AI Sophy and I started at the back of the grid, and I was quite disappointed to find that quite quickly I was moving through the field. This is professional difficulty AI Sophy in custom race. It's just not very challenging. And I thought, well, okay, maybe it'll get challenging as I get higher and higher up the field. I passed second place very easily. And then all I had to do was close down first place. But to close down first place, I was getting back markers in the way who were trying to stop me from lapping them either again or lapping them for the first bit, and they were fighting me and slowing me down. And I was thinking, this is not real proper racing, is it? This is kind of rubbish. It's rubbish AI. Okay, AI Sophy must be an improvement, and it is, to be fair, an improvement over regular AI. The drivers no longer take a picnic with them, park up on the apex, get out and start having a picnic when you're supposed to be racing. No, they don't do that. Except, round this section here that you're looking at right now, I had scenarios where I was passing fourth place, and I generally can get this McLaren into fourth gear before I have to change down to go into second, to take a little section before the kind of 90-degree left. And I couldn't get to fourth gear because two cars in front of me, fourth and third position, who were together, didn't seem to want to go very fast. They seemed to want to be holding me up, and I'm thinking, but this is AI Sophy. In professional difficulty, and granted, I'm not finding it much of a challenge, which is why I was right up the backside of 4th place quite quickly. But still, I would have expected more. But no, don't get your expectations up, because they will not be met. So okay, so and I was, you know, past 4th and 3rd and that. And it's like, you know, in my journey to try and close 1st place down, I was just being held up by back markers who were insistent on racing. You're supposed to be moving out of the way. There's a case here coming up. You'll probably see another one, maybe. I can't remember exactly what's going on between now and the end of the race. But the point is, in this sort of footage toward the end of the race, which it does reach its conclusion of the whole 75 laps, is the AI had decided, either being scripted or just for the fact that it's so badly programmed and so crammed full of cheating, that I was just not allowed to win. Regular AI was fighting me and pushing me and pulling me all over the place the other day. I managed 2nd on a race on this track with regular AI the other day, just as I've managed 2nd with AI Sophy today. And in both scenarios, on this same track versus regular AI and Sophy AI, both of them cheated me out of 1st because they were so fuel injected with whatever cheap rocket fuel that the programmers had decided to put into their cars, that I was just not allowed to win. In a game where credits are everything, as in, you know, terms of you have to look after the car that you're using because you will end up needing to replace the oil, or maybe replace the engine, or maybe, you know, sort of do the body work to make it stiffer again. You know, it takes credits. Everything takes credits. That shiny new car takes credits. These tyres take credits. If you're doing a kind of road going car and you want to get a bit more oomph, then that takes credits. In a game designed and built around credits, the AI, when you race in custom race, is specifically designed to cheat you out of the credits you so obviously deserve, because you're obviously miles better than the rubbish, pathetic excuse for racing AI that they've given you, whether it be regular or Sophy. What is the point in Sophy? I was kind of enjoying it up to the point of passing the 1st place car when it decided to go into the pits, and I stayed out until lap 55 on my hard tyres, and then on lap 55 going into lap 56 I came in to refuel and put mediums on to see me to the end of the race. But in the interim period of me going into the pits while I held 1st place, as you've seen at the start of this video, the footage is of just that period of time, and 2 back markers that I had lapped suddenly had rocket fuel. And also, if you go back to the beginning of the video, you'll see that the fastest lap time that the AI had set was 1 minute 27.808. And as I'm driving, and as those 2 cars pass me, it's come down to 1 minute 22. That's unbelievable, because they were all on hard tyres. I can't do 122 round this circuit on hard tyres with a heavy fuel load. I can't. My best on hard tyres with a heavy fuel load was 129s. I managed 127s on medium with lesser fuel. I can't get anywhere near 122 on hard or medium. I can't. It's physically impossible for me. And speaking of physically impossible, AI Sophy is not bound, and I've mentioned this before, by physicality. Now, you and I are human beings, and shockingly, to play a video game, and the clue is in the title, we have to see. The AI Sophy is not programmed that way. It does not need to take into consideration that there might be a car right with its backside in front of you. I needed to back off my brake a bit earlier so I didn't miss my braking zone, because I wasn't able to see where it was coming up because I had a car right in front of me. You know, on the section on the start finish line when you've got all that speed and then you've got to slow right down and you've got that gradient corner to take, and you've got, in this McLaren I have to take it in first. And if I overshoot that braking point, then I miss time on that section, and it costs me dearly. So I had AI right in front of me, so I had to pull to the left and back off my accelerator so I wouldn't miss my braking zone. AI Sophy didn't need to. It could hit it on point because it was programmed, and it doesn't have eyes like you and I. And that was my big sort of, you know, thing with it initially when they trialled AI Sophy. It knew all the track limits, it didn't get affected by lens flare or the sun being too low, it didn't get impaired visually at all, either by cars being in its way, multiple cars, because, you know, sometimes you get two in front of you, don't you? We get affected by that because we're human beings and we got eyes, but AI Sophy didn't. And that's why I was reluctant to try AI Sophy in the custom races up until this point, because I thought, well, if it's just precision programmed, I've got no chance. So I had a look around on YouTube the other day and I said, yeah, it's better than regular AI. It's a game changer. My critical appraisal, having played the very first racing simulator, which was programmed by Jeff Crammond, and I played it on a Commodore 64, and Jeff Crammond is a freaking genius. So here's a bit, if you're a racing game fan, go and search out Jeff Crammond and the making of Revs, because that is the very first racing simulator, and I played it back in the day, and I played the absolute stuff out of that game. I loved it. And Jeff Crammond was a legend in the racing game, you know, design and what he's done for racing games. He's an absolute legend. One of my very, very favourite programmers from back in the day for what he's done for racing games. So I've been playing racing games, and if you look on my channel, you'll see that I'm not too shabby. Thanks very much. You know, I can push buttons and waggle a stick on a controller to a decent fashion playing a racing game. My controller's got stick drift. There's another thing that the AI doesn't have to put up with, stick drift. So I was a bit reluctant to try it in custom race, because I thought, well, if it's going to be, you know, precision programmed, I've got no chance. But I was surprised to find that it's not challenging enough. The AI is just not challenging enough, unless it's cheating. And there's a difference between being balanced and being difficult and cheating. And cheating robs you out of the credits you so rightfully deserved when you haven't put a wheel wrong. So yeah, AI Sophy, it sucks. And on this bit here, you know, I'm really trying very hard on these medium tyres with a light fuel load to the end of the race to catch this McLaren, but there's nothing I can do when it's pulling away on the straights. There's nothing I can do when I'm in first place and suddenly the AI is given cheap fuel boosting. There's nothing I can do when I'm in first place and the AI decides that actually 122 is a good lap time to put down. What can I do? Perhaps Sony Polyphony would like to answer me. Sony Polyphony, can't even say it. What am I supposed to do as a games player against all that cheating? I would like a balanced video game with properly programmed difficulty. But it looks like, even though I started playing the very first racing simulator on the Commodore 64 back in the 1980s, and we're in 2026 now on PS5, I still have to wait for that well-programmed, balanced AI, don't I? Anyway, over and out. You take care.